right, guys, here we are post the defeat at the hands of the Eagles, and the talk is going, and we're going to have to evaluate. And then if we want to actually get a better evaluation today than yesterday, so we can have a better evaluation tomorrow than today, or we could just deal in drama. And I think that's a lot of the stuff. The tribalistic nature of fandom is really a big appeal for a lot of people. But here I try to do evaluations, and I do them pretty good. I have to say, because my accuracy rating is very high, because I don't try to deal in tribalism. But I learned a ton this week as I evaluated this game, leading up into it, and the game itself, but also really starting to understand the media and the fan base. So I believe in evaluations. I believe in growing. So I'm going to be kind of growing a little bit going forward. We'll deal with that another day. But I want to deal right now with the positives. I'm going to deal with some news stories, the hard knocks, injury issues, and then the penalty thing, because that's a beloved thing right now. It's hot to trot. So I want to deal in all that stuff, but I want to deal in the positives. I have 9 strong positives, legitimate strong positives. And I think we have to deal in real football stuff, or we're just going to be, the toy of the people that generate clicks based on emotions. But if that's what some people want, I guess that's good, because that's what it's about. Fun, right? So, first news, hard knocks. I don't like it. You got a team that's really vying for stuff, and you don't need extra outside stuff. It's not a big deal. It's a little bit annoyance and derailing here and there. But every little bit counts. You could see in the NFL, so kind of sucks that we're getting it. I'm not going to deal with it too much. Hopefully it'll be very, very minimal, but it's going to be an intrusion. It's going to be a hassle to some of the players and to the staff, and we really don't need it. I thought that sucked big time. Now, Wynn's going to be out for a couple of weeks. If you really watch him play, if you have any ability to watch Wynn play and you understand, he's been better than Eichenberg last year, but he's no epiphany that some people try to make him out to be. He's not. Against lower level competition, he'll do well. Against the better, when you focus on him, he'll struggle against power. But there's some good points to his game, and he is clear upgrade over Eichenberg. So it does hurt us that he's going to be out for a couple of weeks with the quad injury, but the monkey over here, who gets a lot of grief, said that if you put him inside, he's going to get hurt. He gets hurt all the time. He struggles with power, and he gets hurt. He's gotten hurt. So hopefully, he'll be back. We need him back. We do need him. We do need him, sadly. We need him. I wish we had an upgrade over him, but I'm grateful that it's not Eichenberg there for this first part of the season. But now we got maybe Cotton or Eichenberg at left guard. And anybody who told you Cotton was good, there was remember preseason, and it was Cotton's an epiphany. Cotton's terrible. He's in the Eichenberg class, but I do put him up a little bit above Eichenberg. I actually think he'd be a better center than Eichenberg and a better center than guard. In time, I think there's a little development there. I kind of like some of the stuff he's seeing, but I don't like him in that position going forward. So our choices right now are going to be Eichenberg and Cotton. Should be Jones, but I understand kind of why it's not, because we run zone stretch and it puts things there. But for me, I would put him in there with Hunt, and Hunt's a guy who's a big-time dude. Going to extol him and run a little bit more inside zone, but that's going to alter some stuff. But I kind of would like that, but we're not. It's going to be Cotton or Eichenberg. So that's a downer. This Patriots game is not going to be easy. Bolton's going to be out for a couple of weeks. The linebacker, excellent linebacker from the Chiefs. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. So it's going to be a little bit of an offsetting thing here. But we need the offensive line. Despite the whole talk, the offensive line is got issues. Some really good stuff, but also some issues. And a lot of that good stuff entails Tehran and Connor being back. So that's that. Now, I want to take a look at this one right here. I don't know. I've kind of lost my stomach for like the stupidity. I can't help it anymore. I'm sorry. I care about the Dolphins fans. I care about truth. I care about trying to have good information. I come from a time with Inside NFL when journalism was really journalism. And I just don't see it anymore. And it's disheartening. It really is at times, guys. Neil Driscoll, I think, he's a good guy. I like him. But I just don't like this take. I don't like this take. Christian Wilkins beat up on some bad teams in the Giants and Panthers, but was a non-factor as he was erased by Jason Kelsey and Landon Dickerson last night in Philly. $22 million plus from Wilkins. That's no from me. Guys, it's not fair evaluation to kind of consider what we're talking about over here. Wilkins, he limited this team to under 100 yards. And a lot of the night, the beginning of the night was 3 down linemen. For the most of the night, it was 2 down linemen. I don't think you guys understand, really. I got to show you when you got 2 D linemen like that, and then you got the guys out wide in that 5 tech, and you're a pass-first defense, how much pressure, how hard it is for those guys inside to do their job. The ask for these guys is extraordinarily high. It makes the job much, much higher. Now, Lane Johnson is considered around the 10th best to the 5th best, somewhere in that range, right tackle. And Landon Dickerson's around maybe, low teens to mid-single digits guard. You know how hard it is to go against 2 studs like that all night in the front that you saw and limit them the way they did? And on top of it, he had 4 pressures, 1 hit, and 2 hurries or something like that. Let me check here quick for you. Let's see. Wilkins. He had 3 hurries and 1 hit, along with shutting. Did he have the greatest night? No. He had the 2 false offsides, which definitely hurts. Maybe 3, I think. But he was trying to cheat. He had to. These guys are studs. I like this guy, Neil Driscoll. I think he's a pretty good guy. But part of me wants to say, let Wilkins go and then see how it plays for you. You want to know who underachieved way more than him? Zach Sealer. Why isn't his name being put up? I like Zach Sealer, but he too is asked to do a very hard job. He's better in that 3 tech, maybe even the 5 tech, out on the edge, but they bring him inside. Davis too. This is a very hard job. And Wilkins is doing well. He's thriving. Of course he feasted on the worst teams. So did our run game. So did our pass game. Everybody's going to feast better on lesser competition. Wilkins is a good player. I thought this was a very bad take. But my little tirade there about bad journalism is going to be for the next podcast. I'm going to get into that. It really wasn't focused on that. I just was in the back of my mind germinating. So now I want to get into fandom and the penalties. Guys, the refs suck. They totally suck. And I've been saying that for a long time. I said, it's going to come back to bite you. Go back to my podcast. Anybody who's watched me. But you see right here, it was 3rd down and 5. Miami had 10 points. Philly was up by 7 minutes in the 3rd quarter. And that ball's in the air. And Brown is wrapped up like a present for Christmas by Eli Apple, and the refs didn't call that. Now, it was before the face mask. It was before the pass interference in the end zone. It was after the hold on long. But nobody complained about that. Of course not. It suited your team. This is why I complain about all bad penalties. You know who got screwed? The Jets. Did you see the penalty? I got to show you again. I haven't seen it. The guy held him so bad. He's punching the guy in the face mask in front of the ref while he's being held, trying to go like this. And then, forgot his name there, went totally senile. Mahomes ran for the first down. It was like 3rd and whatever long, and he ran for the first down. These refs suck. But clearly, if they wanted to give it to the Eagles, they'd have given it to them right here. They didn't. And I think there is some bias. But the fans weren't upset over this. They were cheering, loving it, laughing, and going, ha, 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 ha. Guys, you've got to be football first. The Dolphins will thrive in a fair environment if everybody's taken care of. These refs are terrible. But you got to ask yourself, why is the refs this bad? Maybe this time it was, too skewed to the Dolphins a little bit. But that right there could have changed the game totally too. And so I've seen so many bad calls this year. It's got to be bigger than the Dolphins. It's got to be about the game. We had Wilkins offside. That's a fair penalty. Delay a game, fair penalty. Cotton hold, fair penalty. Bad call on long. Kelsey offsides. The guard next to him offsides. It wasn't. It was Kelsey. It was offsetting. That could have been a first down and a penalty again for Philly. But one of our guys was, offsides as well. So it was canceled and they had to redo it. Bad call. Wilkins offside, fair call. Apple holding earlier, fair call. Jackson or Eichenberg, false start, fair call. Phillips, he was held on the sack, but I did a whole thing of all of the times he was held last year. This goes on, but it goes on all the time. Watch Jackson. Jackson holds all the time and doesn't get called. This not saying it's good. It sucks. Julian Hill, I kind of see the point attack, but I kind of see it now, either, this way or that. The Wilkins, where he hits Hurts. That's going to get called a lot, guys. There's no need for it. He shouldn't have done it. He could have gone either way, but, he's a star. Went to the Super Bowl. They're going to protect him. Full start on the punt. You saw the Apple penalty. That should have been called. It wasn't. The face mask, that was terrible. The long, the Eli Apple, the face mask, and maybe you want to say Mostert. But after you see Apple do what he did to Brown, how obvious it is for Mostert. But so maybe you could say to Mostert. And then Wilkins offside. The majority of the penalties were legitimate. Am I defending the Eagles? No, I'm defending the game. I'm saying the refs suck, but you got to deal with that first. It's going to come back again. Maybe next time it will be for us, and the next time it will be against us. But it's all the way around, and this game wasn't totally one-sided. We caused tons of them. There were some bad calls on us and some bad calls on them and a lot of questionable calls in between. So now let me get on to the happy stuff. Before I do that, I want to say thanks for stopping by, for the likes and subscribes, the comments and the views. That's how this channel goes. If it goes next year, it will go through you guys and all that you do, because without you, without them, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. All right, so first we got to say, remember the media buzz? Fangio, Guy's doing good. He's hamstrung. It's a pass-first defense. And his defense has got Eli Apple and a bunch of other guys. Thankfully, Elliott came back and Holland came back, and those safeties are critical, and they're playing really well. It's great news. The safety combo is doing really well for us. And Fangio is doing his best to dial up the plays. That rotational blitz for the pick for the 7 was big. He dialed up some good calls, guys. Fangio is a good DC, and as a talent comes together, both as we acquire it, get guys back from that are hurt, and then guys get used to it, you're going to see a very, very good defense. And then you got to ask yourself, where were all the talk about Fangio? All the people in the media And media talking heads that were saying, Fangio sucks or Fangio is no good. It's getting lesser and lesser. And then it goes on to something else. And it goes, I guess this week, it's the penalties thing. Then Long Jr., he has trouble covering. But man, this guy is a whirling dervish, shoot him out of a gun, kind of what we all hoped. And Fangio's learning how to control him. He even said, I love what he does, but sometimes he doesn't do what he's supposed to. But they're working together. It's a working relationship. And it takes time for that. And man, Long had a great night. And then he had 2 hurries and 4 stops. And shame he got that concussion. I think it was a concussion. He's pulled out. I don't know how bad it is. Heard Hollins got the concussion out too. It sucks, man. Oh, what a bad play. And then VG, look, did you see VG drop and strip that ball out? He's having a great game. And all these pieces are starting to rise. Defense wins championships. This defense held us in the game. Whatever you want to say about the penalties, this offense obviously struggled. But it was the defense staying in there, and McDaniel and Hill and Tua finding their way and getting those pop plays, and it almost came together. We outcoached the defending NFC champions, and that's amazing. That's amazing. Phillips got his sack, 3 pressures, looked great, finding his way. But it was more than that. If I'd said from the beginning of the season, watch his run stop, and as his run stop thrives, his pass rush will thrive. Because if you got to pull him out on certain downs, he had 5 stops yesterday. To me, that's way bigger than the 3 pressures and the 1 sack. It shows his ability to become a complete player. As he becomes a complete player, his specialty of pass rush will rise. I hope this kid goes on a tear. And he might. Robert Hunt. Do you know how good he was last night going against a ferocious front? He held this thing together practically by himself. I mean, Lamb struggled, Wynn struggled, Cotton struggled, Jackson struggled. I'll get into the Jackson stuff another day. Here's some crazy talk, and that was more about my tirade. Some of these people, that they're not really journalists, either aware or they're just not, they're oblivious. But they all struggled. Eichenberg. But Hunt was the rock of Gibraltar in the pass and the run game. Gotta do a specialty video of the film on him. This guy's a stud, man. When he's on his game, he's one of the best in the league, and he's going to get paid to be one of the best in the league. And his price can start, if he keeps doing this, it can start getting into that 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 million range. That sucks for us, but the guy's performing at that level. The offensive linemen are going up. Now, if you look, though, he's better in zone blocking than gap. Gap is you flood guys into zones. So he works pretty good with our system, not perfect with our system, but he is the best offensive lineman that we've drafted in a long, 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 long time. And he's doing really good. He's getting better. He hasn't reached his peak yet. Another 2 or 3 years, you're going to see Hunt be at his best. And this guy gave up no pressures, and he stonewalled people. And if it wasn't for him, it would have been gangbusters. I mean, we also kept a lot more guys in to help the whole line block. If you notice that too, difference from the previous weeks. But Hunt really came up big for us. I love this kid. Mostert. People wanted Cook. People wanted Taylor. I say, just keep this guy, man. And now you got A-Chain in the back. Ahmed, I think he could be okay at times. People, rave about him or whatever. Wilson's not bad. They're solid, good players. They got traits. But Mostert has pulled it all together and is playing at an extremely, extremely, extremely high level. And he's a great mentor for H.N. H.N. I keep forgetting. H.N. I don't know. I'm half a monkey. But kid's good. Mostert, though, man, he got shut down. And eventually he popped it to the edge because the guy runs hard, he runs smart, great instincts, and he's still got that speed. He's defying a lot of these things that, we kind of know for the history of a running back. And maybe this guy does have another season. Don't know why he didn't kind of stay in more towards the end. Some people complaining about Ahmed taking some of his reps. But this guy's old. I think he and McDaniel have a communication, and maybe something's going on too. But this guy's aces. Hill. I mean, to me, trading in almost practically a whole draft for Hill, 2 first-round picks for Waddle, it's borderline crazy. But what these two guys are able to do with Tua's ability to throw the way he throws, it offsets all these, not all of them, but a great deal of these problems. It is a very, very rare combo, these 3 guys. Tua had a great game yesterday. The pick at the end, you could say a little bit of the holding, but, Waddle ran the wrong route maybe, I guess. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But other than that, Tua had that rollout to Wilson on the 3rd down. That was so beautiful. He had so many good plays. And he was able to navigate this disaster of an offensive line. To me, Tua, Hill, and Waddle are studs. Hill, the highest, Tua the 2nd, and Waddle is the young stud learning to get it. He's still growing. And then McDaniel is not... He wants to run a system that's kind of like San Fran, but San Fran's got all these awesome blockers, and he doesn't have that here. But he's using the angles. He's making the motion happen. I'm not saying he's perfect. I got to see some more stuff from him to see if he is the guy. But this guy clearly can do some really good stuff because your offensive line makes the NFL world go around, and he's making it happen with crapito on the offensive line until Connor and Teron get back. No matter, remember all the people, the offensive line, they're still trying to tell you that this week. They're still trying to chirp. Don't believe them. Don't believe them. It's not to say we can't succeed. We can. You get Connor back in it, and you got some certain matchups. We could do a lot of the stuff we're going to do and blow teams out with the speed. Then there's other teams and other matchups that you're going to need Teron in there, and Connor, and Hunt, and then you can get you. But it's got to be that. Lamb ain't cutting it. Whoever you got at left guard, Connor, Eichenberg, or Cotton, none of those guys can cut it. Eichenberg can't cut it at center. Hunt is awesome there. And Jackson, he's sort of passable at times. But go watch him. He's slapping guys in the face. This stuff will get exposed. You don't get exposed when you're playing garbage teams when you have this much talent on offense. But as you get to the better teams and the better offenses, you'll see him get exposed. But if you have the other guys in there, he won't get exposed enough to really hurt you. But this is the truth. So we have McDaniel, who's smart enough to figure it out, and he is doing an exceptional job, and that's great news. Now, all this together means we got a shot. We're in it. We're not chumps. We're not the fake team that we're always portrayed to be by the media types. This year, this team will contend. I'm not saying they're going to go to the AFC Championship or whatever, but they're going to be in it, really. This is a very talented team, and you got a lot of the coaches. And you got a lot of the players, but there's going to be the health factor and when you play certain people at certain times, when the matchups come up, and how it plays out in the postseason. But this is a legit season, and that's what it should be. Not that we're definitely going to the Super Bowl. We're doing it. Look what we did, 70 points. The 70-point thing was against a terrible team. We had a great matchup with them, and we were firing on all cylinders. But when it comes to these better teams, it's going to be a scrap out, and we can do it depending on all the situations. We got to evaluate week to week, and that's the great news. So I'm going to evaluate for you, along with you, and together we can kind of see how this thing's going. But I think the ride's going to be nice. I don't know if it's going to be great, but it's definitely going to be nice. Anyway, guys, I'll come back to you with some other coverage. I hope you really see the truth and don't get blinded by the tribalistic media garbage, because it's kind of annoying. I'm getting annoyed by it, honestly. I know I'm grumpy. I didn't sleep last night. I stayed up late. So excited after that game. I couldn't sleep till like 3 a.m. Anyway, Curtis, and catch you next time. Be well. Go Fins. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.